The motion, the amendment to the
X-ray.
yeah. Ready when you are.
Call the Muhlenberg Township Commissioners meeting for Monday, December 20th, 20 order. All please rise for a pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, Marcy. For the yes, there was an executive session held tonight before the meeting to discuss various personnel matters. Right now, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our solicitor, Mr. Setley, for a conditional use hearing for Panda Express at 4220 North Fifth Street Highway.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski. This is the time it's been advertised for a conditional use hearing for a drive-through facility at Panda Express at the location on North Fifth Street Highway, as Mr. Malinowski mentioned. At the outset, I'd like to introduce a few exhibits. Township number 1 is the hearing board / conditional use application that has been presented by Temple Zuco Developers LLC to apply for a conditional use being considered today. Township exhibit number 2 is a copy of the notice of conditional use hearing setting this time and date for the conditional use hearing, and this appeared in the Red Eagle for 2 consecutive weeks. Called notice of this meeting. Township number 3 is an affidavit of mailing attested to by Shelley Liz that sets forth a list of neighboring and nearby properties that were mailed notice of this hearing. Township number 4 is an affidavit of posting, also signed by Ms. Shelley Fizz, attesting that the property has been posted in accordance with the municipality's planning code and the township zoning ordinance. Township number 5 is a review letter by System Design Engineering dated December 10, 2021, providing a review of the preliminary final plan for the project that is the subject of this hearing. And township number 6 are the first several pages to a second amendment to operation and easement agreement, which we'll discuss as a potential condition to the conditional use being sought this evening. I understand that the applicant is represented by counsel who can introduce himself, and it's
Thank you. Bob Tucker, Kaplan Stewart, here representing the applicant. I have some pre-marked exhibits I'd like to hand out if it's acceptable. We have exhibits pre-marked A1 through A9 in your packet. Includes the exhibits with the exception of A3, A5, and A6, which are the large plans, which are going to be shown up here by way of our engineer's testimony this evening. As mentioned, we're here seeking conditional use approval under the adaptive reuse and redevelopment overlay district for a restaurant with a drive-through. Our goal is to subdivide the lot currently owned by Target into a second lot, Lot B, which will be 0.695 acres, and then construct a Panda Express restaurant with a drive-through. This evening, I have Ryan Whitney, the civil engineer, who prepared the plans. We have our traffic engineer, Eric Mounts, and also Eric Kelly, representative of the applicant, is here to answer any questions. I don't necessarily intend to call him as a witness. Without taking up any more time, I'd like to call our first witness, Ryan Whitney.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. And just for the record, it's Brian Whitmore, WHITMORE.
Mr. Whitmore, are you a licensed professional engineer in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
I am, yes.
By whom are you presently employed and in what capacity?
Land Corps Engineering Consultants, where I work as a project civil engineer. My title is a senior project manager, where I oversee staff for the preparation of land development plans, such as the ones that have been filed and revised. And then we're responsible for the overall project management associated with various land development projects through Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm showing you what's pre-marked as Exhibit A4. Is that a true and correct copy of your CV?
Yes, it is.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask the board to accept Mr. Whitmore as an expert in civil engineering.
Unless there's an objection by a board member, I think we stipulate that Mr. Whitmore is expert in civil engineering.
Thank you.
Ryan, using Exhibit A5, which is the overall record plan, and A6, the record plan, can you describe the existing site and what is being proposed with this conditional use application?
Yeah, it's currently the location of the parent tract of the Target Shopping Center. The application proposed to redevelop the plan lower right-hand corner on the overall exhibit. That is A5. So north is right facing, so it's the northeast corner of the property where it's proposes to subdivide the property to create the lot to construct the Panda Express restaurant at 2,400 square feet. Land development to construct the building and the site improvements, and then conditional use to permit the commercial drive-through.
Now, Ryan, have you read the township engineer's review letters regarding the project?
Yes, I have.
Is there anything in particular with those review letters that you'd like to address this evening?
Not that we didn't already discuss with the planning commission that were established as conditions of approval or recommended as conditions of approval by the planning commission.
Okay, so why don't we go through the conditions of approval as part of the recommendation from the planning commission?
Okay, the first being the pedestrian connection rates, the fee and move sidewalks. So it was discussed and agreed upon that a fee and move sidewalks would be provided by way of, our office would work with the township engineer to prepare a cost estimate that would then identify what that cost associated with fee and move would be.
Any other conditions?
Right.
Yeah, so the operation and easement agreement that's currently there is one existing with the Target.
Sure. Yeah, there's an existing OEO that's established between Target and the applicant, and once the transaction is complete and the properties are purchased, then that agreement will then be amended and would be subject to a review and approval by the township solicitor.
Have you, as part of this project, looked at the zoning ordinance for Muhlenberg Township?
I have.
Does this plan comply with the applicable criteria for conditional use?
Yes, it does. Well, aside from the modifications that we're seeking approval for, yes, it does.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Not at this time.
I have no more questions, but we'll open it up to the board.
Just to be clear, your prior answer, you're familiar with the requirements of the township zoning ordinance, specifically section 355-37 C, 2 in parentheses, and section 355-142.
In various capacities, yes, you'll have to remind me what exactly those sections
Well,
say.
you review those as you prepare your plan.
Absolutely, yes. So they,
Is it your opinion that the plans, except for items waived on the recommendation of the planning commission, complies in all respects with those sections?
yes.
Thank you. I have nothing further for this witness.
I have a question. I can't see that from here, but just mention sidewalks, just around the building, or are they gonna connect Target and Fifth?
Yeah, I'll approach. Yeah, so looking at A5, there are, actually, I'll go to A6. This is the more zoomed in view. Yeah, sidewalks are going to connect the handicap parking and the new parking stalls that are proposed along the storefront. There will be sidewalk connections that connect the pad parking to the Panda Express restaurant. And then as far as the existing pedestrian improvements, those are existing along the main drive aisle and then along the front of the Target and the Giant.
Oh, I'm sorry, say that again?
The main drive aisle. The main driveway that accesses off of North Fifth Street.
Okay.
So this, right at the main signal, right, this is the main drive aisle that brings access to the Giant where the Target shopping center is.
Thank you.
Any other member of the board have any questions for this witness? Any member of the public have any questions for this witness? None. We discuss it.
Thank you.
Then next, I'd like to call traffic engineer Eric Moss.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Please state your name. Eric Mouse, Mountz.
Are you a licensed professional engineer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Yes, I am.
By whom were you presently employed and in what capacity?
Traffic Planning and Design Incorporated. Currently serve as the regional leader for the Transportation Planning Department.
Showing you what's remarked as Exhibit A8. This is a true and correct copy of your CD.
Yes, it is.
I think this asks the board to accept Mr. Mouse as an expert in traffic engineering.
If there's no objection by the board, we'll stipulate to Mr. Mouse's expertise in traffic engineering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, Exhibit A9 is a trip generation evaluation that you prepared. Can you explain the expected traffic and why you did not need to obtain another HOP permit as part of this project?
Absolutely. I have been, and my firm have been on this project a number of times. This will be the third time looking at this subject property from a traffic perspective. In 2007, we completed the original traffic study and associated permitting with PennDOT to obtain the permits for both of the signalized access points as well as the improvements along the Fifth Street Highway corridor along the site frontage. Subsequent to that, in 2017 and 18, we did work with the township and PennDOT at that time on the expansion to the center that included the Ross and Five Below. And at that time, we did coordinate to bring the HOP permit from PennDOT into the name of the current property owner. Confirmed at that time that all of the trip projections for the center were still in line with the original thresholds established with PennDOT through the original approval. And now this, the third time we have gone back this late October, early November, we did complete additional traffic counts at the existing center for both signalized intersections to establish the baseline of the current traffic being generated. We then estimated the traffic for the subject based on Institute of Transportation Engineers trip generation manual, which is the industry standard projected traffic for the proposed use, and added that to what we counted for the existing conditions and again, compared that to the thresholds that are in the current HOP permits from PennDOT, found that that combined traffic between what exists today plus what we project from the Panda Express will still be below the thresholds that were in the original approval from PennDOT with respect to traffic. So with that said, the original permits have held throughout this project, and we are still below all of the volume thresholds that are allowed by PennDOT under that permit.
Ryan, did you explain your analysis to the commission last week?
We did.
Did they have any issues with your analysis or
They did not.
any questions? I don't have any further questions. I'd open it up to the board.
So based on your analysis, the traffic pattern for the site facility and requirements to provide a safe traffic condition at the shopping center.
That is correct.
Thank you.
I'm just curious with the Chinese, excuse me. When you talk about a drive-through and a Chinese restaurant, I'm just wondering how fast these cars are going to go through and how long do you anticipate the car being in the line for a pickup? Is there going to be a large traffic jam going to the drive-through?
So I will speak to the drive-throughs in general as they relate to restaurant users. Most of them have a prototype use based on their operations at many other facilities. The drive-through facilities are designed with adequate queuing to accommodate the demand for each particular user. So while this use may accommodate turnover, such as, I'll just use a McDonald's, for example, they typically require a little more. This is not of that level, but designed accordingly. So like I said, each have their own individual criteria that they obviously want to make sure that the queues from the drive-through are not spilling back into the drive aisles or whatnot. So like I said, this is the typical prototype utilized for Panda Express at their big sites. They're comfortable if the queuing would be accommodated.
I have a question. The two entrances, the southern entrance and the northern entrance, are both traffic lights. After they get onto that property, are you changing anything in the property as far as lane or cutting through so they're not going all the way to Target and come back up Panda Express?
Now, the internal site circulation, aside from what I'll call the envelope of the site where the Panda Express itself would be, there are some changes in pavement markings to accommodate flow on that particular piece. But as far as flow coming in off of Fifth Street Highway, that will remain as is. So you'll be utilizing the drive aisles as they exist internal to the shopping center.
What I was thinking about, especially with the southern entrance, is there going to be any cutting across from this, if they pull the southern entrance and then heading to Panda Express right across the parking lot? I can drive across all parking spaces. A lot of people do that. You have a good for that?
So just getting any shopping center, I mean, I will tell you that we certainly, the shopping center is not laid out that way. It's not intended to be utilized that way. Pavement markings exist, drive aisles exist to hopefully direct people to where they are intended to go. Can I tell you with certainty somebody will not do that? No.
But do you have it marked as such?
The internal of the shopping center does have directional signage, pavement markings.
People are going to cut across. That's a fact. I just wanted to know if it's going to be marked to kind of deter that.
To the extent feasible.
Any other questions by the board?
Mr. Mounts, on exhibit 6 there, could you just do me a favor, please? Could you just point the egress in and out, just the traffic pattern once traffic gets onto the subdivided lot? How does the queuing line work for the drive-through?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Whitmore, who did the actual site layout.
Okay. Sure. So start on E5. So if you're just traveling northbound on North Fifth Street, you approach the traffic signal, you make a left into the main drive aisle. Your approach that which is kind of the midpoint between Giant and the Target. So you approach a four-way stop sign, you make a left, turning in the direction of Target, and then you make another immediate left. And that brings you really right along that main drive aisle that brings you right in front of the pin. So I'm gonna jump over to A6. So, you make a left to turn towards Target, you make another left to turn into that storefront driveway. You're gonna pass a couple of parking stalls. You're gonna pass on your right-hand side of the drive aisle, and then you're gonna approach the entrance to the drive-through. So at that point, you can park in a stall, or you can make a right to enter into the drive-through lane. And then that's going to circulate in a counterclockwise motion around the pad. So you can approach the order station, which is really right at the turn. So right as right as you wrap around and head in the west-east direction, you order, and then you approach the pickup window, which is really the part of the corner of the building that is closest to North Fifth Street. And that's the pickup window. And then you exit the drive-through lane into the existing drive aisle that's out on site today. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you. Can we just talk about that first left? Well, actually, this is the second left. So we're making the left from we're coming down the entrance there off of Fifth Street, and now we're gonna make a left. And then how far into opposing traffic must we make that second left? If I can try.
Are you talking about right here?
Yes. So how far then must the car traverse after we make the second left?
So you-
Coming down from, so there's another stop sign here, so we're gonna come in and turn in front of oncoming traffic.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the board?
That's a concern, because traffic does stack up right there at that intersection. So long as you have vehicles coming off Fifth Street, they stack up there. And if there's somebody blocking that entrance, wouldn't there be a need for another stop sign? Or a way to get in further down, Target being on your right?
So I'm not a traffic engineer. I didn't study the situation. However, given it's a valid concern that, if you're looking to make a left. So the concern is, if you're making a left to head towards Target, then make an immediate left. If you have to wait there, right? So any queuing. So the proximity of the main drive aisle, quote that a majority of Panda traffic, I guess I shouldn't say a majority of the Panda traffic, however, it's the closest proximity to the Panda pad. The location of this area in question that we're talking about couldn't be, it's on the opposite side of the Target entrance. So anybody who's accessing Target, from a practical perspective, once again, I didn't study the situation. However, just pure proximity of the main driveway down to the south, that's between PetSmart and Target. It's just in much closer proximity to the Target. So anybody who's going to Target, and is talking about making this movement that's in question, sure, that movement can happen. However, people who are going to Target are going to be using the, and, so that area in question is, in those circumstances does occur, it could potentially back up. However, it will eventually work its way through the circulation.
So people coming down that driveway, are they gonna be taking a right to go to Giant or a left to go to Panda Express?
Correct.
Well, there's no four-way stop there now.
It's two-way.
Yeah, it's two-way. So you're recommending a four-way now. Did I hear that? Or no?
That's not the direction.
So someone said in the original presentation that there was they were gonna come to a stop there and turn left. So that's not necessarily true per se, because there's not a stop sign in the end of there.
So this is the current movement is a through movement, and that's a stop for anybody who's approached, heading towards.
No, I understand. To clarify for the record, one of you mentioned there was a four-way stop sign there, which not
Four-way intersection.
intersection, okay, just so everyone is aware. because everyone goes to general, it's expensive.
No, you come in, there's no stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just want to reiterate Mr. Mount's conclusions and analysis that anticipated traffic is still less than what was previously approved.
I don't have any concerns, I just, correct.
No, I'm not specific, I'm not addressing you specifically, I just want to reiterate that the traffic is less than what's already been approved prior.
I brought the question up because I wanted the board to just talk through this. My understanding is that the planning commission did speak to this point because it was a concern that they raised, but based on what's allowable, the way it's permitted to have a building put on the lot, that has to be the way that the egress is created, if I understand correctly from the planning commission discussion. And I would think that, I mean, most people in the parking lot are gonna, probably are gonna come in from the right, and make a right-hand turn. I shouldn't say it that way, but if you're gonna be a frequent visitor there, you're probably gonna wanna come in the other way and make a right-hand turn as opposed to making a double left and trying to get across oncoming traffic. But the planning commission didn't have a large enough concern to stop the project at that point. Thank you. Thank you.
And just to be clear, if you know, the planning commission has recommended preliminary final additional approval based on this traffic configuration.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Does any member of the public have any questions for either of those? Joining further.
I would just, for the record, I'd like to identify our exhibits, then move to admit them. If I could.
Yeah, if you want to make a motion to admit A1 through 9,
Sure, I'd ask that A1 through A9 be admitted. into the record.
and township has no objection to that, we will also move for the admission of township 1 through 6 as well. Any objection?
No objection.
Any further?
We have nothing further.
Thank you. At this point, if the public doesn't have any questions or comments, we can conclude the hearing. And if the board is so inclined, I would suggest that we use approval for Temple Eco Developers LLC, conditioned on compliance with the SDE review letter dated December 10, 2021, the execution of an amendment to the operation and easement agreement to accommodate the new Panda Express use, and finally, to address the pedestrian access and fee in lieu of pedestrian access issue in a manner satisfactory to the planning commission.
So,
Any further questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those, if any.
That concludes the hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Oh, hungry for Chinese.
all right. Tomorrow, sign the first public portion. This is the first public portion. Residents know that any matters that may be before the board of commissioners. Would anyone like to speak under the first public portion? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the entire consent agenda.
Moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those, if any. The ayes have it, so ordered. I actually do have a video. Yes. That's all in the minutes.
he's currently the executive director of the.
So they, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. Doing service then. So they heard that, I saw that. Yeah, you read about 200 things. Any unfinished business? I need a motion under new business. I need a motion to approve payment of bills presented by the Director of Finance and Customer Service. Second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to authorize the solicitor to advertise the 2022 meeting dates and times.
Second.
Questions or comments? Those all will be posted appropriately out on our website. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to adopt ordinance 603 establishing the 2022 annual budget.
Second.
Any questions or comments on the motion?
Good work on our staff. Budget discussion.
Commissioner, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. In item D, we need to make a revision to a motion that was adopted to ordinance 604. So I'm going to amend the motion for ordinance 604, establishing the 2022 tax rate to a 0.6 mil for fire services, a 0.1 mil for ambulance-related services, and the remaining 4.6 mils for general fund purposes.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Need a motion to adopt ordinance 605, adopting the 2018 Uniform Construction Code.
Move.
Questions or comments?
Can
I
I,
will get back. Did you then pass the tax rate orders just a minute? You fell asleep there for a minute.
You amended it.
You were looking, you did vote to enact it.
Okay, then, well, let's go to Uniform
That's fine.
Construction Code.
Steve, don't mean to put you on the spot. I came to visit you earlier today, but looking at all the code changes, or if there are code changes, I mean, I have friends that are plumbers and things like that, and sometimes they kind of complain about they have to do this and they have to do that. When all these codes here are from, I mean, it's international existing building code, the energy conservation code, the international mechanical code, the international plumbing code, the international code for fuel, gas code, international wildlife urban interface. I mean,
Yeah, how do you just,
you know, is there things in there that you can say, we don't do that, or are we following this
right, so,
letter of the law?
yes, this is the letter of the law, this is the state of Pennsylvania's mandated triennial adoption in the 2018 series of code for often municipalities, which is Muhlenberg Township and the Commonwealth. So we're technically required to adopt. Within those codes that you've just stated, there is some provisions that have been removed for the state of Pennsylvania, provide a list of everything that their review committee reviewed and removed from those sections of the code. But as a municipality, we're required by law to adopt, and they're going to pass the adoption probably around Valentine's Day in the first quarter of this year. And then the other two codes, the property maintenance code and the international fire code, are standalone codes here in our municipality. I'm adopting those just so we follow the same suit as the state. So all our codes line up essentially within our municipality. So there's no confusion.
Don't want to
So
jump into
really,
the weeds.
that's really it, yeah.
I seriously
Yeah.
thinking like,
Yeah, I feel the same way some days when I see that, or they send me the notice that it's gonna happen, or we see it coming down the road, because obviously I have to place it into my budget. Now I've got to make sure I get it on the website, that everybody gets prepared for, and the design professionals, and all the contractors need to know that we're gonna be that code adoption portion.
thank you.
Sure.
See, does that help us in the long run? But also contractors that, then they already know what to expect if they're coming into a workplace. You know, everybody has the same level of expectation based on uniform codes.
Agreed. Agreed, and they're working not just in Muhlenberg Township, they're working in multiple municipalities, multiple counties, and they're basically finding the same, or it's the same provisions are required. There may be a few amendments here or there that a municipality may or may not have, but for the most part, the code state. So they should be aware of it, and they should be making adjustments within their own, organization to make further code.
For example, multiple builders have already contacted me for Reno, Grande, Burks, and they've already been in some of the training that I've been to, and have already reached out to me, wanting to know some significant changes that we're seeing in 2018. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Dunkel. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. So I need to add a motion to enact the TAC 2022 tax rate ordinance,
Correct. We call it 604 again.
ordinance 604. Moved. Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to adopt ordinance 606, adopting the 2018 property maintenance and pocket code.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to ratify the decision to name Zelowski Exelrod LLC to assist in the disbursement of ARPA funds.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need to ratify the decision to increase the annual contribution to the Muhlenberg Community Library by $10,000 for the 2022 budget.
Second.
Just Commissioner Wolf here, you could explain it probably better than me. The reason we needed to increase this contribution is because of the serious detriment to their overall funding of the county match. Is that correct?
The county looks at how many people reside in the municipality. And they figure they need that the municipality should put an X number of dollars for each person that lives here. And if you don't meet that expectation, they will cut the monies that they give to the library. And we're not meeting the $5 per diem, meeting the $3 per diem. If we don't, it's $10,000. They'll lose about $5,000-6,000 from the county if we don't do this. And it will help them overall. I mean, their budget is about $250,000 a year. It's not a great budget. There are people who are making like $9 an hour. They're having a hard time actually finding people to work for $9 an hour. So this will give them a little bit of ability to increase some of the hourly wage and keep the money coming from the county.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to reduce the bond for Reading Chicken LLC in the amount of $106,409.82.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to reduce the Rivercrest Phase 2 letter of credit by $385,011.65.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to accept the time extension for the Fairmount Avenue Phase 4 Land Development Plan as presented by Torsen Engineering.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. So Michael, we need L, N, and M, correct? A motion to ratify the planning commission board's recommendation to grant a conditional subdivision approval for developing a commercial facility at 4220 North Fifth Street by Temple New Developers LLC. The motion is in accordance with the plans presented by the developer to the planning commission as well as SDE's latest review letter. With respect to the project, it includes all applicable waivers requested by the applicant, committed for approval by the planning commission.
Second.
Any further questions or comments? Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to ratify the planning commission board's recommendation conditional final plan approval for developing a commercial facility, 4220 North Fifth Street by Temple Nuco Developers LLC. This motion is in accordance with the plans presented by the developer and the plan commission, as well as ST's latest review letter, and including all necessary legal agreements with respect to the project, and includes all applicable waivers requested by the applicant and recommended for approval by the planning commission.
Seconded.
Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to approve payment application number 2 to CMS for work completed on Fifth Street Revitalization Phase 2 project, in the amount of $120,697.38.
Seconded.
Comments?
Looking better.
Sure is.
Keep putting the ranch in, it's looking better.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to approve payment application number 5 to Light Inc. in the amount of $39,400 for the work completed on the new public works building.
Seconded.
Any further questions or comments?
When does this end?
That's it for liable. We'll have one more for Bolton in January, and we will have Alvarell Electric. They'll be the last one. They're still hanging out.
And we basically made budget.
We're under budget.
Can we get a final cost when it's all done?
Yes, absolutely.
Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to adopt resolution 2021-11, adopting the 2022 compensation schedule for non-uniform staff.
Moved.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to adopt 2021-12 Berks County Tax Claim Bureau as a delinquent real estate tax collector.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to adopt resolution 2021-13 appointing each A. Berkheimer as the 2022 amusement. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to adopt resolution 2021-14 authorizing the 2022 traffic signal maintenance contract with Telco.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to adopt resolution 2021-15, setting the 2022 refuse and recycling rate.
Second.
Just quickly, Jim,
Doesn't change.
just so everyone knows, it doesn't change, and the senior discount is still applicable.
That's correct.
So if you have not, please look on our website, come to the office, make sure you take advantage of, if you are eligible for the discount, to take advantage of that. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to adopt resolution 2021-6, adopting the 2022 omnibus fee schedule.
16.
Sorry.
I figured that. That's like your fourth mistake.
Seconded.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Is there anything on that?
The
Is
only,
there anything we're gonna have people come in and say, like, you know,
Nope.
do that?
the only change is to the fee schedule for use of the shooting range.
Okay.
So that will be outside police entities and law enforcement entities. We're changing from an hourly rate to $150 for a half a day, and $300 for a full day.
So that's not gonna show through the association.
Nope, that is not.
So that's the only one.
That's all. Nothing else changes.
There are.
There are.
That's why it's sneaking one in there once in a while. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Then a motion to adopt resolution 2021-17, revising the township sewage plan, the Panda Express Land Development Plan.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and so ordered. Any other new business by the board? Mr. Bowman? Board appointments, I need a motion to appoint members to the various boards and committees for the 2022 appointment summary provided by the township manager.
Move.
Second. Any questions or comments?
Thank everyone for volunteering who serves on our various boards and committees. It's a lot of unseen work, some real unsung heroes. So to all who volunteer their time, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any. The ayes have it, and so ordered. Public portion, anyone wish to speak on the second public portion? Seeing none. All right, staff comments. Merry Christmas, happy New Year all.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, be safe. You should have received your township magazine newest issue. If you didn't, please give myself or customer service a call. It's also available digitally on our website. As far as any inclement weather or closings or office hour changes, just it'll be on our Facebook, Twitter feed, and the website.
Thank you.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Speaking of it, there's no forecast, Jeremy. There you go, I should have said that out loud. Yeah. But I know Jeremy's crew's been doing a great job, and they're still I sparsely picked up some leaves, I believe.
We also just finished our 2021 road project for 13 more smooth roads. I hope you're all enjoying them. Tuckerton Road being one important one. So that went very well. The project should come way under. I don't have the final numbers yet, but we should be way under. So, and the Boulevard's another good one that is real nice. So yeah, it went very well. No problems. Hope you all enjoy it. Have a great holiday. And, hope for no snow.
Thank you, Jeremy. Chief.
Happy holidays to all, and our two graduated from the academy. They're at their banquet tonight, and
Mr. Bowman.
Trash and recycling service will not be impacted with the holidays, so your normal Thursdays, your normal Thursday, your normal Fridays, your normal Friday. And we will have a January 3rd reorganization meeting, which will serve as our regular January meeting as well. So that will be here, January 3rd, starting at 6 p.m. Everyone have a happy holiday.
Thank you. Mr. Commissioner Lurch, you're on first.
it was another challenging and interesting year. So a big thank you to our entire staff and our department heads for a job well done. I'm sure the next year will hold a lot of other unforeseen issues to tackle. But I know we have the right staff in place to handle anything that's coming our way. I look forward to serving the township for another 4 years, and I want to thank everyone who put their faith in me and to vote for me to serve and represent you again. So I'm looking forward to doing that. However, I might have had second thoughts after reading through 200 pages of documents last night to prepare for this meeting. So, but I'm looking forward to that. So I want you all to remain safe and have a happy holidays.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner.
Okay, quick explanation. I'm not going over the top here. I was working a day, so. And I'll be back on the train over here at 61 Thursday and Friday. You want to come and sit in my lap? Try not to eat so much till that. That's anyway. It's been quite a year. We had bumped taxes up a little bit, but we don't have much choice. As they still say, the sewage business, it all flows downhill. And Washington and Harrisburg are forcing our hands. But we still try to keep it down so everybody can afford to live in Muhlenberg. We have an excellent township. And I think we're all really proud of our accomplishments over the years. Our police force is standing tall. And our staff, top to bottom, is doing a heck of a job. If you see the leaf picking truck out there, the driver of that truck, I'd like to acknowledge, is Bill Cerulli. He's doing a fabulous job. I rode with him. And what he did in an hour took us a couple of days to do by hand. A great job with the machine. We got another machine ordered. The Public Works, we just hired a new guy who also knows concrete work. We're gonna start working on these ADA ramps for next year, so we can get some of these other streets paved. They got it, the ADA ramps have to be done before a street can be paved. So some of the streets are a little bit behind, but we're gonna put that in schedule for next year. Other than that, Merry Christmas. Don't ask me for stuff, because I'm not really Santa Claus. I ain't putting nothing down your stocking, so forget it. Anyway, God bless, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same thing. Commissioner Wolfman.
Parks and Rec had a very good year, all the different programs that we had. We had a lot of things added, two kayak launch areas now. One was just put in at Jim Dietrich Park and Academized, and it really looks beautiful. We've done a lot this year. December 3rd, we had the lighting at the Temple Playground. Probably had about 50, 60 kids there. With TK's toy box, they donated all the toys for the kids, and the park looked beautiful. But we had a really good year, and we're planning for next year. We're going to have most of the same things that we did this year. We're going to have next year. So hope to see everybody out. One of the really nice things that we've had this past year were those Friday night concerts, sort of like Riverfest, except you can bring your own beverage, you can bring your own food, your lawn chair, you plop down in front of the farmhouse and you listen to a band from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So it's just a great time out. We have 300 to 400 people there, and I can't believe we don't have more. I look forward to on the calendar this year. It's the Friday night concerts, and the music is great. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wolfman. Commissioner Lupier.
Yeah, I'd like to just kind of build upon congratulations to our staff with a trying year, in particular police. We're bringing them some more help, and hopefully that'll go farther for our citizens. This township's really, really unique. You don't quite get, townships that feature mushroom farms to train stations featuring Santa Claus. It's something special, and I think we're pretty well set up, for next year upcoming. Should be a lot of exciting things coming down the pike, and really proud of the staff. I'm proud to serve my fellow citizens, and wish everybody a safe and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just real quick, couple quick things. Once again, thanks to our team. Does a great job. It's a tough budget process the last 2 months. The board and our staff obviously does a great job. I have like to thank the county commissioners. December 16th. I don't know. I'm sure viewership was it like sold out watching Monday Night Football, but we were the host of the county commissioners meeting. Unfortunately, due to some COVID concerns, they went virtually, but we were asked to participate. Commissioners have been good partners to Muhlenberg Township, helping us, grow our tax base, because what they do also impacts us here in Muhlenberg Township. So I do want to formally thank them. Also, I'd like to, talk just real briefly, as everyone knows or may not know, I have a passion for economic development. It's gone a little cold, but I think we're turning the corner. We're starting, as you saw tonight, with Panda Express. I also received a phone call this afternoon from a very, very large contractor that would like to locate in Muhlenberg Township because of the way our government operates. That's been around for a long, long time. So me and Mr. Bovek are working our butt off to see if we can find a location that fits their big outfit. So we think we're, as you saw, Jack O'Reilly's, the whole group, there's been a lot of interest in some folks moving into here because of the groundwork that's been laid over the last, decade. So we'll keep Jim busy for a while. So January 3rd, if you haven't seen the reorganization, come on out at 6 o'clock. Something to see. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.